How you doing today? Well, we're out of here at Picacho Peak State Park. And the reason I'm out here is because of these little guys right here. See these orange flowers all around here? In the wintertime we get some rains, and these things pop up all over these hillsides here. And that's not all that pops up here. This place is loaded with flowers, and it's loaded with photographers. But that's okay, it's for everybody. I just got out of the truck and I walked over here, and the light was shining on this mountain right here, so I decided to take this shot. A very simple composition, actually. I'm shooting this vertically, so throw this up on Instagram. I'm gonna fall over here. It's a beautiful day out here, and I don't blame all these photographers for coming out here. This doesn't happen all the time. And in Arizona, in a month or so, these will be gone. The snakes will be out, and it'll be summer. It'll be hot. So we're going to take advantage of this while we can. We're just lucky I had the day off and I could get out here. So, like I said, I have a vertical composition here, and I'm going to do something called focus stacking, which is I'm going to take 3 individual shots, one on the mountain. Focus on the mountain. The second shot will be focusing on the cactus in front of me, and the third shot will be focusing on the little yellow flowers that are right in front of the lens right here. The reason for that is it's so hard to get everything in focus and everything sharp, so you take 3 photos stacked together in Photoshop and you get it sharp front to back. That's the plan anyway, so we're going to see if that works. Alright, so the first shot, focus on the mountain. I'm shooting this at f11. We're at like 1/100th of a second. It's got it bright here. So, all right, second shot. I'm just going to move my focus point, and I'm going to focus on that swirl right in the center of the frame here. So we'll take that shot. Awesome. Okay. And then we're going to come down here. And for the final shot, I'm going to focus on these little flowers right in front of the lens. Got that. Now, even at f11, when I focus on these flowers in the front, that starts to get a little soft. So when we blend those together in Photoshop, it'll be sharp front to back. That's a cool shot. All right, let's go see what else we can find. Okay, we're on our second shot here, and we moved up the trail a little bit, and I had to shut it a little closed because it is toasty out here. I've also put on my longer lens. I've got a 70 to, I don't know what the hell it is, 300, I guess. Because I saw there's a group of cactuses up there that are just peeking around the corner of the rocks up there. There's about 4 or 5 of them in a group. So I don't want to get the shot I want. I gotta reach out there with a longer lens. So a little tip they'll give you with a longer lens. They always tell you to double your focal length for your shutter speed. So if you're shooting at 200 mils, they want you to shoot at a 400th of a second. Well, that always doesn't work. So make sure, I mean, that's a guideline, I guess, but make sure that your camera is on a tripod first. And the other thing is you get a remote shutter so you can eliminate all camera shake when you touch the shutter button. The problem is, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of breeze blowing out here, and even locked down, I've got this tripod locked down, and I got all the settings on it cinched tight. I mean, nothing's moving on this tripod, but the lens is hanging out there like it's hanging out there, and the wind is going to move that. I didn't take my strap off. You see my strap flopping in the breeze? That's a huge problem. I got to tie that up or take it off. I think I'm just going to tie that up right there. And the other thing is the wind is going to move that. So either use a shutter release or your 2-second timer or your 10-second timer. Now I've tried this before and I've used 2-second timers and it's not enough. I still get blurry images because of camera shake. So I've got a 10-second timer on this because I'm too lazy to dig my shutter out of my bag. So I'm going to take this shot before somebody gets in it here. I got this shot is at f14, 80th of a second. That thing's going to beep for 10 seconds and it's going to take the shot, and then the wind is going to settle down here a little bit. It's going to work perfect. And that one's coming home with us. Okay. That is a great shot.
Good afternoon.
Jogger going by. Okay. We're going to, don't forget to, when you're out here, don't forget to, sometimes we get lost in how vast and how much stuff is out here. And with a wide lens, you can't capture it all. But start looking for intimate details in the landscape. Small cactuses, small trees, little rock outcroppings, whatever you can reach out there and grab with a longer lens. You're going to get a lot of diversity in your shots in the same setup. So try that. It's not always, landscape photography is not always about using the widest lens in your bag. I shot this one that's over 200 millimeters. And I don't care what anybody says, that's a cool shot. Alright, let's see what else we can find before we get a sunburn out here. Holy cats! Although the clouds are really looking cool. We may have some neat light later. If I can stick around. I don't know, I got plans for later, but let's see what else we can find. Alright, let's go. Okay, no photo shoot would be complete out here without doing some macro shots. Some close-up shots of the flowers. I'm using a 100mm macro lens. See my settings right here. My cheater's on. Also, one good thing is this thing is in the shade. There is really harsh light right now. It's 10 to 3 in the afternoon, and the sun is right there, and it's breaking through the clouds and it's putting all kinds of harsh light on this and on these flowers. But if you get in the shade, you get this little dappled light that's coming through these branches right here onto these flowers, and it gives a little bit of contrast, a little bit of texture, and it's a little better shot. And it's a little easier to take too, because it's cooler in the shade. Because if I have to take off any more clothes, if it gets any hotter, and I have to take off any more clothes, I'm not going to be able to put this on this side. I'll have to put it on another one. So hopefully it doesn't get any warmer. Okay, so what do we got here? Oh, we are way overexposed. We got to crank that up a little bit. Alright, get our shutter speed up to where it's supposed to be. I'm at 5.6 200th of a second. One thing I'm battling here is the wind. There's a little bit of breeze, and anybody that takes macro photography, it is the bane of our existence, is the wind. But if you just be patient and you just wait, sooner or later the wind's going to have to take a breath and it's going to stop. And that's when, I got to change my settings from the 10-second timer I was on earlier. Did I switch that? Let me see. Yep, switch that. Okay, we can do better than that. I have 2 flowers right there, and this 100 millimeters is so tight. Oh, look what I found right there. There is a flower right here that's growing through a dead... There's a bunch of dead branches around it, and there's a flower growing right through it. That's my shot right there. I didn't even see that before. Alright. Let's see if we can get this one set up here. Let's see if I can find it. Lock that down. We're going to... Another tip I'll give you is when you... A lot of people like to use autofocus, and I do too, I love it. But it's kind of like Reagan's in the kind of like Reagan and the Russians. Trust it, but verify. What I do is I use the autofocus and focus on the center of the flower, and then I'm going to punch in here. I'm going to zoom in here with my camera, and I'm just going to fine tweak the setting or the focus to make sure that that's as sharp as we can get it. And the wind is driving me crazy. Oh, that's gonna give me an upset stomach. Zoom out of that. Okay. Oh, we are underexposed there, so we got to bring this down to. We're gonna shoot this at f5, 200th of a second. I've doubled my focal length for the shutter speed, so we're at 100 millimeters, so I've got 200th of a second, and this exposure is f4.5, and I'm just going to wait for the breeze. Get out of here! I'm going to wait for the breeze to subside, so we can get this shot. I kind of like this one lone flower that's poking its head out through all the dead branches. I don't think 200th of a second is going to freeze this. That's not too bad, but it's not the sharpest shot in the world. You know what? I'm going to recompose that. I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to put that on the third, like right there. That looks a little better. Alright, now I'm going to adjust my focus. Now the wind is kicking up higher. Alright. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay. I finally figured out how to get this this shot of this flower coming through these dead branches. I don't know if it's not a cactus. I think it's a little old mesquite bush or something like that that has died. And the flowers are coming up through it. There's kind of a contrast there of life and death. I've got this framed so the branches are actually providing a leading line to the flower itself. It kind of draws your eye from the corner of the shot on the bottom up to the flower. Take some more of this. Look for those in any kind of photography that you do, leading lines. You want to draw the viewer's eye to the subject that you're emphasizing in your photograph. Sometimes if you frame it wrong, it leads the viewer's eye away from what you want it to look at. But in this case, I have the branches right in the corner of the frame. The dead branches are kind of going up like that, and it's leading into the flower. Here, let me show you this. Let me get a little video rolling here. Okay, here's what we're looking at. I finally figured out how to get this shot. I've got my tripod configured in some kind of monkey configuration here, but it's working, and I've got it framed up so the dead branches in the mesquite bush that are laying there are actually providing a leading line into the flower. If you look, I wish I had something to point it that with. I don't know if you can see this stick. See the leading lines that go up there? Right, they lead right to the flower? Look for that in your photography, any kind of photography that you're doing, especially landscape photography. It really enhances your images if you can find a leading line, a fence, a creek, a road, or whatever, to draw your viewer's eye to the subject that you want them to look at. In this case, it's the flower. And I found this leading line in the dead branches, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's take this shot. What are our settings here? We're at f2.8, 500th of a second. Why am I so fast? 500th of a second is because we still got a little breeze blowing on that flower right there. f2.8 gives you a nice blurry background. This 100mm macro lens is just an awesome lens. I love this lens. You can use it for portraits too, not just this stuff. Let's take one more. And check my focus again. Zoom in there, verify that that's pretty sharp. Yeah, that looks... What I'm doing is I'm focusing on the center of the flower. Yeah, that depth of field is so shallow. I mean, I'm looking at the center of the flower is in focus, and the leaf closest to me, which is about that big, is blurry. I'm just going to take a bunch of these. Oh, too much wind now. I gotta wait. Okay, here we go. That's a cool shot right there. Alright, I think this is going to wrap up my shoot for today. If you get a chance, get out to Picacho Peak State Park. There's a lot to see here. There's a lot more to shoot than I shot today, but I got some plans for this afternoon. I got to go see the grandkids, so I'm going to have some fun with them. But get out and take some pictures. See you next time. Oh, the wind stopped. Gotcha.